Oh shit!
Hello,
Would
Internet.
you look at that?
We are live here. This is the Money Pigs Livecast. We are a Dawn Gate Roundtable discussion show that occurs here on this channel at this time. I am Twerp. With me is Mobile Champion John, Blue Muzzy, and Spinal Dash. We are the Money Pigs. You know that already. We're here to talk Dawn Gate. Hello, guys. How's everybody doing?
Super great and getting better every day in every way.
God
Good.
bless.
That's
Woo.
that's inspiring. Um, how was Muzzy? How was your weekend, bro? It's been a couple
Yeah,
days since I've
Muzzy.
seen you.
I had an interesting weekend. I went on a trip
Mhm.
and I met a real live leprechaun.
Oh
and
yeah,
His name was Twerp.
Yeah.
His name was Twerp.
that was something that was really funny. Everyone said that they expected me to be taller in real life,
Me too, dude.
and I'm like, you know what? The name's Twerp. It's not like it's not
hot
ironic.
body.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Gigantic.
But anyway,
But
we have a lot of
yeah, it was
lot of things
awesome.
to get to tonight. We're gonna go into the summit and our impressions and reactions from that a little bit later on in the show. But first, we're gonna start off with lore because we got a lot going on in lore. It finally happened today. We got the death and destruction Freya panel where her
Nope.
village is getting burned by wolves. I don't know. Apparently, wolves can use torches, or I don't understand where the fire came from. Either way, so her village is getting destroyed, and we're seeing the moment where Freya becomes Freya. So just an initial what? How did you guys? Did you guys think? What was your reaction today to today's chronicle?
I the buildup has been so great that honestly, like the whole city was on fire, and I was like, yeah, it's on fire. Like I'm ready for. I mean, even her brother was dead, and I was like, yeah, he's dead. But like I'm ready for the next panel.
Yeah,
Like
but was that
Wednesday's
actually her
panel.
real brother? I thought it was just like
Yeah, it was a real
like her
brother.
bro. Wait, was her
I
real
think
brother?
so.
Oh,
Yeah,
I missed
I
that.
think the buildup is really cool, but Wednesday's panel is gonna be the panel.
Well, yeah,
with,
that's
like,
the one.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna
Yeah.
get her super rage on then. Probably meet her vitality,
Mhm.
and then do something cool, hopefully. But
Like
either way,
Ah!
yeah,
That's what she does.
she does. She does yell.
I didn't realize it was Monday because I was all caught up from being like, oh, hey, I'm back from vacation. I have to work. And so I went into work and I just worked all day. And I'm streaming before the Money Pigs. And someone goes, hey, did you see today's Chronicles? And I'm like, oh, God, it's Monday.
Mhm.
So obviously I went to the panel not knowing exactly what to expect, kind of forgetting where it was left off. And the feel set in pretty hard there. I was like, damn. And then, I'm right with John now. Now I want to see her grab those
Oh,
two
yeah.
axes and go batshit crazy on people.
So, but now this kind of links up with the Living Lore vote, although not really, but somewhat because it involves Fenmore still. But now we're gonna have the is it live now or does it go live?
It's live now.
It is
It's live
live
now. You
now.
gotta click on it though.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go to that panel and click on it, and then you'll open up the vote screen. It's kind of obscure.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's
Like if I have trouble finding it,
Non-intuitive.
I feel like it's obscure, right?
Oh, it's gone. Where is it?
It's there. Is it gone?
Oh, never mind. I forget. Continue. I thought you. Never mind. Nothing. How's it going?
John, did you fall asleep again?
No.
Not
We're
this
not gonna
time.
get to that. No.
This is the first time in Living Lore I'm on the losing side, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I mean,
Dude,
just
knife
just
in the
overall,
dark.
like after seeing Fenmore kind of burning down this village, I'm a little bit more into Hammer in the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie.
I feel like Hammer and the Sun is so out of character. It would be more interesting.
Yeah,
Kinda
like my gut tells me that I want knife in the dark or whatever it is. Knife in the dark. Yeah.
Miss those feelings, yeah.
So, because I feel like that fits with their personalities and like Kendra as an assassin, like you know what I mean,
Right. It's very like I mean
characteristic.
basic
Like,
bitch. Wait, what?
Yeah.
See,
But
that's-
Hammer in the Sun, I feel like that I kind of feel like I know what's going to happen if it goes Knife in the Dark, but Hammer in the Sun, I'm kind of like, I don't know how they're going to handle this. I don't know
Yeah.
what approach they plan on taking. So I'm definitely, I think I'm leaning towards Hammer in the Sun. I think today's panel kind of swayed me, and I want to see Fenmore burn some more. Yeah, stop Hammer time. Thor's got to be all about the Hammer. So I think I'm on Team Hammer this round.
The problem with that is, if he's supposed to be commanding an army, right? How many does he have? He has wolves and Kendra. That's not going to be that spectacular, bursting through, being a big out in the open battle. Like, it's not impressive. Like, finish
It's not
your
impressive
nine.
unless it's against like 1 or 2 other people.
But that's not a battle. That's
Yeah,
a
but one
fight.
shaper is worth like 100 soldiers.
And yes, but one
Right,
shaper
didn't-
versus one shaper is still just a fight between shapers.
Well,
I
that's
wanna
assuming, but
see-
like the bad
I wanna
guys
see
are going to
them
get
be
their act
sneaky.
together first and like be united, and then like the
Right.
good guys are going to like, because they're going to have like ego problems and all kinds of crap going on their personal with their loyalties, and Meridia won't want to link up with this guy because they're poor or something. Like, I don't know. There's definitely going to be like good guy crap going on, and the
Right.
bad guys are definitely going to organize quicker and faster. But dude, all they got to do is like break Desecrator out, have him summon like an army of zombies. There we go. Now you got an army.
Right, but the thing is, like Terranel said, Muzzy, he isn't done recruiting, though. You're right, but this is the living lore right now. Is he going to be... Are they going to stay on his lore from now until the living lore resolves and they have the panels up? They're going to need, like, 4 or 5 days dedicated to him recruiting different people if he's going to have an army. So I don't think it's going to be exciting compared to, like, the sneakiness and the close calls and the nail-biting, like, oh, God, he almost got caught, or, oh, shit, they don't know what's coming and we do. Like, it's way more epic, in my opinion, if the bad guys are going to be sneaky about it for right now. And then after they're revealed, you know?
Well, it's a weird choice because, like you guys said, they have an army of 2. It seems like even if you want that Hammer of the Sun or whatever, you have to start out all sneaky. Like, you somehow have to build followers
Yeah.
and alliances and be all in the shadows. It seems like that's the prologue to them gaining control of at least some army. Because obviously mortal non-shapers can't go
Sneak.
into the Dawn Gate, but like outside of the Dawn Gate, somebody's got to fight.
I mean, you guys are. What are you voting on? You're voting on what's the sensible choice, right?
Right.
This isn't the realm of reality.
I'm not
This
voting on a
isn't.
sensible
This is
choice.
a reality that hasn't happened yet, right? So let's go for something a little interesting. Let's shake it up. I mean, we went sensible with Kindra, going to see Kindra. We went sensible with Vex over Variant. Let's do something a little interesting.
Yeah, you know, it's
Hammer and
fine.
Sun.
I feel you there. I felt like the other two-
You guys can't even theory craft like a good outcome to this, and they have to. I mean, something interesting is gonna happen. In my opinion, Hammer in the Sun is the closest you're gonna get to getting that AMV you want, that anime music video, action clip footage.
No
Fair
one wants
enough.
that, though.
So are we in agreement then? Hammer of the Sun?
I think it's
I think
Hammer
we are.
time.
Yep.
I think it's Hammer time. So people, get out there
All right,
and play
so-
some game. Who's involved? It's Fenmore and Kindra.
To keep it balanced, I'll side with Muzzy. So we'll have
God
2
bless.
knives
Oh.
and 2 hammers.
That's not
Whatever.
true, Laments. Of course they're going to use their abilities when it's all subterfuge and manipulation. Kendra's a goddamn assassin. That's what she does. She's going to be like, poof, shadow stepping here, poof, shadow stepping there, slice,
Can only
death,
just
ooh,
step-
ha.
she's got to get reset in between.
She's
Yeah.
gonna be leaving
Awfully-
little goo girls in her wake everywhere she goes.
That's
No more
That's
goo
awesome.
girls.
You're sounding awfully Hammer in the Sun to me, Muzzy.
no. That's the thing. People think that just because you go sneaky that it can't be dynamic. Absolutely not the truth. You can definitely make it sneaky and be absolutely epic.
Okay.
I definitely I think I'm all in on Hammer. I think this discussion has swayed me. So I'm gonna be all over the. Too bad I don't really play Kindra or Fenmore, but maybe I'll play a Fenmore game here or there. God, I'm really waiting for the Shorewind Tribe Living Lore stuff. That's something I can
Oh.
really participate in. But the rest of this stuff,
Definitely. Could you imagine? It's like which man should Amaranth choose?
I mean, obviously,
Team
I'm gonna,
Viridian and Team Cerulean.
Nobody
Oh,
would pick Viridian.
no, he's so ugly, bro.
I pick Viridian.
Like emo
Let's-
squid, bro. No
Especially
way.
after the buff
Muzzy
that he
swims
just got.
against the current. That is what he's doing
Like
right
Viridian does. The buff that he just got would totally make me pick Brady.
Yeah, that we're gonna get to that later. Thankfully,
gonna
we got
get to
the
that,
we
yeah.
got to the patch notes.
Segue. Oh my
Yeah, I know that was
God.
nice. But before we segue into patch notes and all that, Muzzy and I had the opportunity to go out to Waystone for the Community Influencer Summit over the past week, and it was absolutely amazing. I hope you guys got a chance to catch the super epic mega hyper reveal stream and whatnot that we did from Waystone. And yeah, if you didn't get a chance to check that out, definitely check out the VOD for it. There's some really cool reveals there. We saw a new Reyna skin. We got to get our hands on Tess. I got to demo caster mode and cast the first ever Dawngate 5v5 with EGAD, which was really cool, and cast some other games with some other guys, Garwar and Zyrule I casted with, while he casted with some other people as well. Oh man, what am I missing? Muzzy, what am I forgetting?
I have to be careful and not say things.
Well, yeah. Obviously, we're not going
what
to talk
you
about
missed?
certain
Oh.
Burden
things.
of knowledge over there. Golly.
Yeah.
Here we go. We met Mega Zero. We met Benny. We met Nick Wu.
Uh-huh.
Zken again for me, but Zken for the first time for Twerp. So that was kind of interesting among this nerd culture that we have here. We met our heroes, got to play against them, got to win with them, got to lose with them, got to win against and lose against them.
It felt so bad playing with people that good. Like when I did something wrong, like I would just like look over at Megazero and just be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." But it was definitely like I felt so much pressure to perform with so many good people around. But it was nice to have Muzzy there to drag it down and make me not look so bad.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Muzzy.
No,
hard
Muzzy
carried that
killed
first
in that
game.
first game we did.
That first game,
Muzzy
it
was
just
carrying on
like-
Basco.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
proud.
I think that's
was
why he's
proud.
getting nerfed now. Muzzy
Yeah.
did so well against all those good players. They're like, all right,
I did call that though, didn't I?
Clearly, Basco is too strong. Look at Muzzy.
I think it was the moment that Paradoxic got ganked as Reyna by Basco, and I was like, I bet Basco was gonna get a nerf.
He's definitely strong, no doubt about it. Not anymore, though. We'll get to that in a bit.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
The rest of my 60 or 57 games is going to be pretty boring, in my opinion.
We'll,
are you not gonna switch it up and just jump on Tess right away?
No, I'm not actually.
You're an
I'm not
HK
actually
player.
interested in playing Tess. Even though I think that she, from her kit and the way that she works, I think that she could be a pretty potent ganker. I'm not super excited about her. I like people with burst mobility as opposed to like over time mobility.
Tactical
If that makes
mobility.
sense. Yeah. I like tactical mobility as opposed to like, I just zoom around the map all day. It seems pretty cool. I like her kit a lot, but I don't
Well, yeah,
think
that
I'm
was the thing. We did get a chance to get our hands on Tess and see her in game. The first thing I noticed about her was just off the bat, she plays very differently in the way that Kenzu plays differently from other ADCs in this game, and Vex kind of plays differently from different from the other ADCs for their own reasons. Tess plays very differently from other ADCs, and again for her own reason. She's one of those ADCs that, from a favorable position, she seems insanely strong. If you are fighting on your terms as Tess, and you're getting to the fight on your motorcycle, and then using your empowered abilities, like she brings so much upfront damage that you're just like what happened to my health? Between her passive, between empowered Q, and then the fact that you cannot get away from her if she's on her motorcycle and you're trying to run away. Like, no, you're not. It's not going to happen. So, but to the same
Unless
effect.
you got CC, right?
Well, unless you could CC her. But, I mean,
Knock her off her bike.
if you're squishy low health target and your cooldowns are down, like, just start dancing. And, like, don't even bother trying to run because she is
I
super
foresee
fast.
her being a mage killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a burst
Understudy?
ranged carry. She is a burst ranged carry, but she suffers from the same thing that mages do with her abilities. I saw during the summit, I saw a lot of people just saying, broke it.
Yeah,
It's an
That
overreaction,
happens
knee
every
jerk.
time.
You guys got to realize you got to get on the bike, and
That's-
you got to do that in peace and isolation, otherwise it takes longer. Then you actually have to ride around on the bike until your abilities become empowered. Then you have to use your Q. So you're relying on a lot of stuff, and then you're building into a lot of stuff. I think
She
it's going
is
to be
not-
a noob trap. Yeah.
She's
I think
not
it's going to be a noob
overpowered
trap
from the
for a lot of
get-go. I don't.
people. a lot of people are going to build all of the big on-hit things thinking that it's like her Q is just going to end the game. It's not. It's definitely not.
No, what you should be doing is building her with as much damage as possible, like,
And
like
a conquest.
yeah, and a
Mhm.
conquest.
And a conquest.
That's
You
basically
need one big one.
get
exactly.
a destruction and like a supremacy, and then just get a conquest. Like I would build a supremacy on her. It's ridiculous. The amount of upfront damage she does it's really a sight to be seen. The thing is, in that same token though, if you're jumping on her all the time, and in the same way, Vex, when he's put in an unfavorable position, it feels very weak to play him. That's how it's going to feel to be Tess. Like if the bruisers get up into your grill piece, it's going to be real tough to jump on your motorcycle, and they're just gonna annihilate you. So,
Well, that's the thing, right?
but I
Like,
think that will make her balanced.
her kit is all based around those crazy Qs, and if you launch a crazy Q and do a Cerulean with W up or a Raining with W up and do no damage, like that's it. That's your empowered Q for the fight. That's your contribution. Now you're just a 80 carry with no steroids. So like
Mhm.
I'm highly expecting her to fizzle out on the first week. But a lot like Zalgus, like when you land that God Q, or for Zalgus's case, like that God Root combo, like people are gonna be like broken. But that's good. I mean, Shapers should look broken when they do it perfect, without being OP. As long as when they're not doing it perfect, no one thinks that they're broken. If that
Well, it
makes
depends
sense.
on how easy it is to get that
Right.
ideal setting. Like for instance, Viridian is very difficult,
Definitely.
and
Mhm.
then Tessa's seems to be a whole lot easier because you can do it while you're out of combat, right?
Well, I mean, you can definitely charge up your W going into a fight and to end the fight, but you have to shoot your Q through the
It is a
entire.
skill shot, right?
You have to hit the squishy. So, I mean, generally, as an 80 carry, what your job is to kill the tank and then the squishy, because the tanks and the bruisers, they're in your face. Like, that's the only
Mhm.
person you can target. So she's going to have to somehow, with her bike, either kill the tank first and then explode the squishies, or find a favorable way into the fight where she actually does get a good shot off on the
Yeah, she
squishies.
sounds a whole lot like AD caster more than a AD.
Honestly, if you just kind of hang out in your lane and go gladiator and just farm all day, I don't think you're gonna have a good time on Tess. Honestly, and this is me talking, but I think she's a sick predator. I mean, she was a
Yeah.
great predator on the internal secret build, but even in the current state of the game, I think you can lane her with a gladiator and just kind of use her to just poke people down as pred, and then roam off and go nab kills, because the time in between, like, she is like the queen of rotates. Like, no one
Yeah.
rotates faster than her except for a flying dibs. So, and but yeah, like literally. So like that
Is
first
her
jungle
ult
gank
infinite
around.
range?
No, but it's
No,
super long range, and it's the best
approximately
thing
Zalgus'
about
ult
her.
range.
It is the best thing about her kit. It is like the slow is
It
insane.
looks beautiful, just like Viridian's ult. They're just coming
Yeah.
out with these ults that are just,
Did anybody
Yeah.
else notice the plane shadow?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
of course. That was
Airplane
one of the
shadow?
coolest touches of the whole
That's
thing.
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Definitely.
But I definitely think she can. She will be like the first ranged AD that's like, you know what, Predator isn't a terrible thing on this. But then again,
Definitely.
we all know.
I think with her passive being true damage, people are going to benefit a lot more from like
Power.
super high damage builds.
Mhm.
power
her
based
pass-
build.
Her passive
What's that?
doesn't scale with power though.
No,
Oh.
it doesn't. But her passive deals true damage based on your auto attacks, right?
No, it's only your level. It's a really shitty passive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I thought it was based off auto attacks.
Yeah.
The reason they make most of the time they'll make a damage like that true damage is that so that it'll always do something, and they can
Right.
keep it at a small amount, and it will never like have a really high abuse case, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
The big thing with her passive, it's gonna apply on her first Q. So it's gonna make her Q look even stronger, even though it's like actually her passive and her on hit effects and her Q all hitting at the same
Yes.
time.
The other thing is, if you get on hit type items and whatnot, the Q spreads to all of them as well.
Oh right, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I saw one of the in the announcement where they showed the laser being multiples.
So it's
I want
certainly.
to see Vengeance Fate. That's what I want to see. I want to
You
see
know,
people instantly explode. I want to see her
No.
like one shot, like an entire back line. Just
Don't think it's gonna happen.
people were theorycrafting Fate Zeal builds, where if you got like a grouped up team, you could launch your Q on like basically more or less the first one
That's more likely.
would instantly trigger the second one because of
Mhm.
the 3 on hit effects, but then like
Fate Seal
your next
Vengeance.
ones would basically just have like a 1 second cooldown. You'd be like Q Q Q Q,
Pew
uh,
pew.
which seems interesting. Of course, the only problem is that then you've invested 6,000 Vim into 125 health, a little bit of haste, and 5 power. So there's a lot of
YOLO.
trade-offs there. But I want to try that build at least once. I mean,
I think Zeal is going to be an item that finally found its place. Besides, like a Freya, I think that it fits pretty damn well on her.
when Zeal was bugged, it was actually a really incredible variant item because it used to proc basically its effect twice, like all those items did. And like your variant Q and E and W, like you were basically like it felt like you were playing Ezreal in League. It was just like really, I'll say like once more, but you'd have a really low cooldown on your Q. So this guy's Q is a little shorter range than variants, so I want to try it. It'll be really spammy.
All I know is when you're
She's
at the end
super.
of yeah, sorry, Muzzy, but like at the end of a fight, when you're or like at the end of like a gank or an engage happening, like and like everyone's kind of low and you're looking to get like that last kill and back out. If you see like a zooming Tess, it's like rest in peace.
Mhm.
Ripperino
Yeah.
pepperoni.
She's super easy to kill though. Like if you get her,
Yeah,
she's
she
dead.
seems really
Any
vulnerable.
any bruiser is gonna be like, you're my target this whole fucking game. You're dead. It's gonna be super easy because she's
mean-
basically down in ability and has no attack damage or auto attack
No
steroid.
steroids, yeah.
So she's, unless the build is really good and she's ahead, I think carries, and without peel, she is going to die to a lot of bruisers, which I think because of that we'll see buffs for her at some point. But that's just like a very cursory glance at what I think will happen.
So that's pretty much it as far as Tess is concerned right now. We'll obviously have more thoughts on her when we see her in future games when the patch comes out. And speaking of the patch, we have one. It's tonight, right? Did they give a time?
They posted it.
It's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
7 a.m. tomorrow.
A.M.
Okay.
Yeah, Pacific, so 10 Eastern.
But with the patch, we got, with the addition of Tess in the patch, we were getting lots and lots of changes happening to Dawngate once again. And if we,
Aha.
get the patch notes
Are we
linked
going
up
there?
in Chatterino, yeah, it's patch time, bozos.
Yes.
Patch time. Cool.
Patch time.
Let's go through this.
We should have like a little sound.
Patch time. I know, little
Oh.
jingle and like
We're not a real
Mail
podcast until we
time.
have those things.
The
Damn, what are they
segments.
called?
Patch time.
Diamond on the patch.
Do we want to start with shapers or items?
We should
Yeah,
just go
so
straight
do
down the
shapers
list.
because a couple shapers are getting passives this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
patch.
that's huge.
All right, so I'll start with Ashabel. I just recently played a game of Ashabel in the jungle, and it was a lot of fun. I haven't done that in a while, but I really like her. And I was trying to get the hang of her her Zephyr stance, her slipstream. And I honestly thought so many times, man, I wish this was just a little bit longer. And today we see the range of this ability has been increased up to 1200, up from 1020. So that's pretty impressive. Now in my chat we were trying to figure out if the damage would change because it's going longer, or basically they just spread the damage out. Just at max rank, it's
That's a good
still that
question.
much.
Does her damage increase by range?
Yeah, the further the
It's
slipstream
an Italy
travels, it
spear.
does.
It's an
I
Italy
have
spear,
no
essentially.
clue.
It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
as noticeable
potent.
on like
It's not
Nidalee
as
or
potent.
anything like that.
It's
Yeah.
not
It's-
Nidalee level. I didn't even
no,
know
no,
it's
no.
Double damage though. It's
I had
pretty
no
big.
clue.
It's big. It's big damage. Like when I jungled, I got as far away from the camp as I could, and I would launch that first, and you just see a huge difference in launching it right when you're close.
That's
So it's-
interesting.
yeah.
I imagine the damage wouldn't change. It would just spread over a bigger distance.
But now,
I
yeah,
think
it's theoretically going to be able to do more damage because it travels more distance.
The damage is the same. The
Oh,
damage
okay.
is the same.
The real thing that's going to change that Ashabel is supposed to be designed to be a good sieger, and right now her sieging is okay. Like she needs to have a longer range than an ADC can auto attack from to have a decent siege, and she kind of has that, but it's countered by the fact that she has her survivability is real dicey and blitzable. Um, and so like between maybe this slipstream change will make her a little bit better at sieging and open up some
Yeah.
because that was the idea when they introduced her. They're like, yeah, we want that siege effect, and right now it's not happening. And I think maybe this will help that happen.
I mean, just in general, like 200 something units is like that's like another full melee auto attack range. Like that's chunky. Like I
It's
think
big.
people are gonna notice that right away.
Yeah.
Like whenever.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
nope. I was gonna move on. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, whenever new shapers come out, I like to talk about, oh, this has some interesting appeal in a siege comp, but like the siege comps in LoL are so much like more siegey than the siege comps in
Yeah.
this game are. Like you
It's
can definitely
interesting.
see them put up their siege. They get trenched in. I don't see it this game yet, just because they don't have enough kits. So I think that'll be a nice change to give more options in that type
You
of
know, in my opinion,
composition.
who's the best sieger?
Who?
Is
Kitty
Dibs.
Mass? Oh.
Dibs, who doesn't siege. He just splits because he's in both places at once, right?
Fair enough.
So,
Right.
so what you see a lot of is Dibs split pushing while the rest of his team sieges, and if they engage outside of the binding at the 4 people, Dibs is there. So it puts a lot of pressure.
We're
on that.
gonna Spinal. You and I had a discussion about Dibs earlier today that we can bring up a little bit later when we
Okay.
cover the competitive stuff.
That
But
should be
yeah,
exciting.
for now, let's move on to Basco. This is it, guys. This is what everyone wanted. So now you're getting it. Basco is getting. Like they're basically like removing 2 of Wolverine's claws and leaving him with 1. No, I'm kidding. I still think Basco is going to be good. They're bringing basically it is a full sweeping nerfs to his QW and E.
Yeah.
His ult is being left alone, which is fine because his ult is kind of tricky. It's not that easy to hit. It's. I think that's like.
I see a lot of whiffed ults
Yeah, I whiff
like,
his ult plenty.
from
It's
top
left-
players.
I whiff his ult plenty, but I mean, the base level of Revolt is being dropped. The empowered version of Revolt, his Q, is getting dropped. The power ratio is getting dropped. Unbreakable, his chains now are getting down to 33% of shielding in the jungle as opposed to 50%, which should be fine. It shouldn't really make his jungling any that bad. But the damage is also coming down. Power ratio coming down there. Power damage is coming down on Onslaught, is E, and on the second activation. So all of his abilities are being dropped. He's getting a little bit less power scaling. I think you're going to see a little bit more tanky Bascos being built. I still think he's going to be a strong shaper. Any shaper with that kind of mobility is still going to be strong. But I hope this is enough to get people to stop crying and whining about him.
God bless.
And it brings him into a place where it's just acceptable Basco levels of shenanigans.
No.
You missed the one the thing on his Q, the bug fix, where mastery was basically applying bonus damage on any of the on-hit effects.
How many people were
Like,
building
there's a lot-
mastery on him, though?
I was
Well, there was a-
Mastery and Conquest. You know how bursty that is
Well,
alone?
Conquest,
and
yeah.
then
Well,
you-
Muzzy, I
but
know
then-
you did Power Basco, but
But then,
was
you add
ridiculous.
in this bug, and all of a sudden you're having Mastery proc on the proc of the Conquest, which is
yeah, I guess with
explosion.
the Conquest
I'm
building.
actually I'm glad that Waystone didn't talk about the way that this bug worked too much before the patch, because
Yeah.
from what I saw, most people were just building Conquest and then a standard tank build, which would actually get no benefit from this bug at all unless you were
Yeah.
building Mastery.
Pain.
Um,
I saw a
which-
lot of Conquest pains, and
yeah. Well, Pain's a good item in general, especially now, but if the community at large had known that Mastery was the issue, like, we'd have been seeing some really oddball, like, bursty
You'd have been seeing my
Mastery
build.
builds.
Divinity
You'd
Bascos.
have seen my build. I had Divinity and Conquest. Like
Mhm.
my issue with this nerf is that they they say that they want to. I mean, as you guys know, I'm in at game 43 of 100 of Basco games, and I have chosen to not build him tanky because I love the fact that you can play these shapers however you want depending on how you build them. I've seen tanky Ashabel, I've seen tanky Amaranth work really well, I've seen tanky Vex work well. You know, you can do different things with these shapers with the items, and this pushes him so far into the no, now you have to go tanky realm because with the way that I was building him, it was almost pure damage and health, and I was barely surviving as it was. But I was also just making sure that I could kill that one, maybe two people. Of course, he had the resets, but I'd have to actually land my ult, which is pretty tricky, like you said before. So what happens now is that my build is basically they say, no, we don't really want power Bascos, even though his passive screams build him in different ways. And so now I just feel like this is the wrong direction. I think he's over nerfed across the board. He did need a nerf. He did need something. I wish it was that they had taken out the slow out of his W instead, and maybe made his ult a little bit more reactive, and maybe some damage scaling down a little bit. But they basically nerfed anything creative you can do.
Well,
with
let's
him.
not get that crazy because think about it like this,
I
Buzzy.
think
It's a 0.1 ratio on Q and W. That's not like
no. It's not the ratios. It's not the ratios I'm worried about. You are reducing by 10 or 15 at every level for all of his abilities.
But it's not like his abilities are on super long cooldowns.
No,
I mean,
they're not.
they're relatively spammable, so I don't think
true.
it's going to be that big of a deal. I think a lot of this. Yeah, go ahead.
You have to look at it in regards to play style. Okay, if you are building him completely power heavy, in order to actually get enough burst to do things that other power builds can do, being that he's melee, being that he's sticky, he gets in. As he's getting out, he's dying every single time. So if I don't get in and kill people with the power that I have in that build, then I literally have to play like an assassin and only do picks.
Well, honestly, if you're playing power Basco, you shouldn't.
You're kind of playing like an assassin,
You
right?
should be playing it like an assassin. That's
super high mobility,
is,
super damage.
Yeah.
Yes. But here's the thing: you are almost always trading your life for one person every time with a really high damage build, and that's not fun, right? One for one. It depends on who you get.
It's not fun.
It depends.
I do it all the time, and it's the most fun thing
absolutely.
ever.
I'm a bruiser too, except what I'm saying is playing him with that mentality means that he doesn't have the ability to do the other things that he should be able to do, and I think that this takes away an option completely. Which is, I feel it's
I don't think it completely takes away.
Well, I'll tell you because I will play him 57 more times, and I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know.
I don't particularly agree with you, but I respect where you're coming from. Like nerfing just his damage feels like everyone just wants or at least the balance team says Basco Gate, like with his playstyle of just like going in and getting all over your face and you have nothing that you could possibly do to solve it. That's fine. We just don't want you to die so fast.
Right.
And that's where I think a lot of people in the community are kind of a little ticked about this change too, because like if you're say Vex or Nisa, you're still getting dumpstered on because it does absolutely nothing to fix the fact that he's got 4 gap closers and a slow. So
yeah,
I've always been critical of Basco because I just feel like he's an improved Petrus, and like I don't really think that he brings a lot to the Dawn Gate. Like I think the Dawn Gate would be better off without him. So,
big words, John Moore.
This change will be nice because I won't get one shot so much, but I don't know.
I think Basco is the inverse of Mina, and the irony of that is they both have the same problem, right? Mina should, in my opinion, always be underpowered in solo queue, and Basco should always be overpowered in solo queue because of the way their mechanics work. Mina being that she should rely on her teammates to be a big portion of her effectiveness because she enhances her teammates. She gives them damage resist, extra damage. She jumps on them, right? So she should technically be underpowered in solo queue where teamwork suffers. She really isn't. And Basco's like the exact opposite. He's like the solo artist, the super chaser. Like if you're anywhere on the map alone, I'm here and I'm in your face and you're not getting away. And he should be overpowered in solo queue where those situations happen more often. Um,
People don't peel in solo queue either.
I don't even. I mean, Basco's hard to peel too. He's
Right.
hard to peel. Go ahead.
I just like in general, like a lot of people that play tactician, aka the support role, they're not focusing on the fact that they can peel for you. There's some people that are really good at it. Some people are really seasoned tank MOBA players and are really good at that. But like without one of them on our team, it's it's scary in the solo queue.
So I didn't feel like Basco was overpowered in the competitive scene. I guess we'll talk about that later, but
Mm-hmm.
that's why I didn't want to see
I
him
mean,
nerf.
this nerf feels a lot like
Like, this
almost
is
fan
Reddit
service. Like it's almost like fine, like this is what you wanted, this is what you're gonna get, and then don't come crying to me 3 months from now when everyone's like, what happened to Basco? Basco used to be so much fun. I used to see him all the time, and now he's gone. Like I don't think. I
It's an
think
This
over
is
nerf.
why we can't have nice things.
yeah,
you know?
but like this is kind of.
I don't know.
I hope it doesn't turn into that. I don't think it's as bad as people are seeing, but there are some other changes happening with items and whatnot that are also gonna affect Basco. Like Muzzy was saying, he likes to build health and power, but health is one of the things, and we'll get to the items in a little bit. But just to make a point now that rebirth is getting changed. Well, not getting changed, but it has some changes. Health is getting harder to get. Prosperity is getting the health reduced on it. Vigor is becoming more expensive, so rushing health isn't quite as easy even as an option as it was before. So that combined with these damage ratios and whatnot, it's definitely going to put Basco in a place where no one should be complaining about how strong he is unless he's super fed, and that's any shaper in Dawngate feels OP when they're 9-0. So moving right along, Kindra
True.
is getting a passive which she's had all along. It's just getting a name
Just
now.
kidding.
Shadow
Yeah.
Fury. It was basically a passive on her QWE anyway. So that's all it is. Kel is getting a passive, which is very
is big.
interesting. This
This
is
is
big
big.
because Kel has no form of scaling on his own anyway. Like no buffs to he gets no stat buffs anywhere. He doesn't get extra armor for doing anything, unlike some of the other tanks. But what makes Kel strong is not stats, it's his abilities, and getting his abilities more often, which is what his new passive is, which is whenever Kel is hit by a basic attack, cooldowns of all his abilities are reduced by 0.25 seconds. The reduction effect is reduced to 0.1 for attacks from non-shapers. This is going to make him better in the jungle. This is going to make him better in lane. This is just going to make Kel a lot stronger. You're not going to be so forced to rush haste early on him in your tank builds. You're going to be able to get things like prosperity and not feel nerfed because you don't get your abilities as faster. So I am super in on Kel's passive. Anyone, you guys have any other comments on Kel's passive, or do you want to keep going?
I think it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's gonna turn Kel from like just out of the viable range to like I think it's gonna be wildly viable because the important thing there is it's 0.25 seconds. There's no internal cooldown.
Yeah,
There's no internal cooldown.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's like
That's a big
so
deal.
you
There's
get
no
something like a
there's no
hope.
cooldown reduction like that. Harmony has an internal cooldown. Zeal, I don't think it has an internal cooldown, but it's gated by attack speed. And there's like you could potentially. I think it's a big deal. It's a big deal,
It is a big deal. Kel's
and
gonna be
especially for
spamming
jungle
them sheep.
Kel. Especially for
Yeah.
jungle
Yeah.
Kel.
It's
And
gonna make
one
him
of the big,
viable.
yeah, and one of the big things about Kel is that his ult has like the most wickedly long cooldowns, along with Reyna at level 1. It's wickedly long. But if you're jungle, you're getting hit by creeps all the time. It's ticking down that ulti. It's ticking down that gank. That gank is coming sooner and faster and harder. Not harder, but
Just to
I
be
think it's a
clear,
big deal.
Harmony
I
has a
really think.
0.5 second cooldown. So
Internal cooldown?
0.5 second internal cooldown.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
So-
if 5 shapers are attacking you at once, you know what I mean? Like then on Kel, that
Yeah.
means that's if 4 people attack you at one time, 4 auto
Yeah.
attacks, that's a second off of your cooldowns. I mean,
then
usually
what if, like,
if
three
you're
creeps
Kel,
go
you're
it's
getting
good.
hit a lot faster.
No,
than
it's
that.
good.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it's good. It's really good.
It's gonna have. It's
I'm
gonna
excited.
Have
I'm gonna be
It's
playing
gonna be really cool.
some new Kel.
It's gonna be really cool, and I want to get that skin because it's a really cool skin, the Atali
Yeah.
Kel.
I mean, like his ultimate too. I mean, you don't think about ultimate when you think about skill resets, but like if you go in for a gank and you're like, all right, cool, first blood, no big deal. Then you go like clear 3 mushroom camps. Your ultimate just got its cooldown like chunked in half, and then you gank the other lane and get second blood. So I mean that's a big deal as well. I mean, obviously not rank 1 because like it's 130 seconds of cooldown at rank 1, but like it's just overall.
Yeah, once you get a little bit, once you
exciting.
get that equilibrium, you get that subjugation. It's just going to help with that even more. So
Right.
super excited about Cal.
Yeah, I think this change goes back to the Kindra change where they added like sustain. Like, I think it's really good that they're trying to make the quote unquote non-viable junglers better in the jungle. Like, it's good that they're taking a look at people that typically aren't at the top of the tier list and aren't your first pick and be like, hey, let's make them better in the jungle, while giving them a bit of a buff overall. So, really happy.
So moving on to the next item, Viridian getting more and more buffs. Like, this is
Awesome.
getting scary now. So Knife Toss is getting buffed again. 20 base damage at level 1, 15
Yeah.
at level 2, and
skills.
10.
Early game buff only.
Yeah, it's pretty much an early game buff only, but like the level 1 Knife Toss is serious now, and Surge
Yep.
getting its cooldown
Well,
reduced
not
by a
only
second again.
What it's going to really do is help him CS.
Oh my
Right
god,
now,
yeah.
It's so
35
possible to CS
damage.
35 damage. You're just like, what is this?
It's
CS
less damage than a
France?
range creep. It's like, oh yeah, it's very supportive of this change.
Like,
but
I'm
Yeah,
expecting
Totes.
some good players to get their hands on Viridian finally after like putting him off for a long time, and it's gonna be scary.
He's-
The
He's
interesting thing
secretly
is,
viable.
yeah, the interesting thing, or the weird thing is that he is really high skill cap, but the players who can play him absolutely destroy with him, and
Yep.
now they're gonna just do it even more. I don't know. I'm scared of ever facing
Like, try
somebody who
laning
knows how to
against the
use it.
2-0 Viridian, like, and see what like, you know what I mean? Like, see how hard
tough.
it is. It's gonna be even worse now. So,
part
Yeah.
part of my French, but Viridian just shits on squishy people.
oh my god.
Like his level 1 double W on like somebody that's not rocking armor, like a Zalgus or something, is just like, oh, you're dead. Like not dead, but like that's a lot of damage.
Dead as a ducat.
Yeah.
Dead.
It's I've been running a lot of Kindra Viridian lanes ever since I played one with your friend Acids, Randy, and it was just
Oh my
like,
god, that guy is so good.
oh,
It's my boy Sunder
Yeah.
doesn't. So keep an eye out on for the Fishman in the next with the next patch. Now we move on to the big cheese, Vulak, Voklu,
Baklu!
however you like to call
Voklu,
him.
Tess, Sharper,
He's getting
Nay.
he's getting a double passive, because it's not just they're taking the lifesteal from his W and giving it to him as a passive. No. They're giving him a mini decay as well. And whenever Volok deals damage with an ability to a target, he applies Mark of Consumption, causing them to take 3%. Plus 1.5% per 100 power of their maximum health as magic damage over 2 seconds. Volok is healed an amount equal to the damage dealt, and damage dealt against non-shavers reduced, blah, 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 maximum health. Same kind of thing, just a little bit less. So basically, it's a mini decay, which also lifesteals for him. So, I mean, Vulak, you getting buffs? What does this mean, guy? Let me tell you, I played Volok on the internal with his new passive. With resilience in 3 pots, I did not need a single pot. Like, I'm talking, I did not fall below 95% health in the jungle.
So is this right? Is this right?
I saw.
Because
I
they
he's
just,
definitely
they just
gonna be more
nerfed
viable.
Basco. They just nerfed Basco so that he wouldn't be like that, and then they just made Voklu even more like that.
Vulak, best sharper.
What's really nice about Volek though is his mobility is pretty weak. So like you can outplay a Volek as a ranged carry, whereas like for example as Vex you don't really have outplay opportunities against Basco. So like that's why I've always felt okay with Volek's balance state, because I always feel like I have the power to win. So this buff slash nerf, I don't even know what it is, should be okay.
It is not a
theory.
nerf in any sense.
I mean-
no, it is not a nerf. It is not a nerf.
His Q got nerfed.
2 things I have to say about
And his
Voklu.
ultimate.
One, what you're seeing is a lot of these changes are aimed at giving him more late game power, because he works in the early game. Like, the way Voklu works is like he should be the guy that you cannot beat in a fight, but he can't force the fight, right? That's kind of how his kit seems to work. And that works in the early game, and then as you get towards the later the game, you can just force fight with him, and because of pain or because of whatever, he kind of falls off, and then he just kind of collapses in on himself, and doesn't really work as a shaper. Being it's a decay type passive. It scales with health, so it's going to scale into the late game. It's going to be a whole lot more effective in the late game, regardless of how he builds. Also, they changed his damnation, so it does less damage at level 1, and which is his ult. Damnation is his R. It does less damage at level 1 and does more damage at level 3, which is level 18.
Also to help him scale into late game.
Right.
That's good. I mean, I think
Right,
we've
right,
all
right, right.
seen Volix carry early game and then just fall apart.
And then just
so.
fall over. Yeah.
It does happen.
I really like these changes. I think we need to keep the shaper pool diverse, and that's definitely a step in the right direction. He's going to be overpowered in solo queue. Sorry about it. He's one of those shapers, just like
It happens.
Vasco. He's going to be overpowered in solo queue. My best advice is just kite.
I apologize
Ben
for my
Franklin.
ignorance to jungle players everywhere, but like, was W an ability that you would max on Volek before? Because if you don't need
Definitely.
the lifesteal, I think I saw
it was-
BCO talk about this earlier.
It was very. I mean, because I used to max W when I played him, and then my buddy Acids told me to try maxing Q, and I just like maxing Q way more. And I do that, but I don't know the appropriate way to play Vulok.
I
Yeah,
felt
I
like it
played
was
it once.
always super effective to at least half max W, if not fully max it, like kind of balance it out with E if you were feeling spicy. But it definitely opens him up to different playstyles now. You can max W,
But the
which
blink chops on Q,
Mhm.
the blink chops are really it's so
They're
much
real.
style points.
it is style.
I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, don't play him attack speed, play his abilities. And I don't really play Volek. Like, what do you guys think about that? Is it really his abilities that are dealing the most damage, or is it, his auto attacks, building him attack speed?
Why not both?
I mean, as
I mean,
the
sure, why not
receiving
both?
end,
But
Because
as
the
the
stat that does
receiving end
both
of
is
Volek,
haste.
it's his abilities to me that kill me. But I don't play melee that often, and I don't jungle, so like I don't dual Volek. I just know when he comes in and chops you for
you
lots
run,
of damage.
yeah.
Would this make him viable in lane? In theory, since you
He's
would
viable
be
in lane.
He's viable in lane anyway. Yeah, I mean if
Yeah.
you
But
know
he's
what you're doing,
more viable in lane by a lot, a whole lot.
excellent.
He reminds me of Jason Voorhees. Yeah, somebody says no matter how fast you run, he always comes
he's
after
chasing.
you.
He never stops. That's kind of good.
Never
And plus,
stops.
like the whole undead aspect of it, that's
It
very
pretty much
cool.
he is pretty much Jason Voorhees. Yeah.
So let's move on. So some more item changes. Here's the big one: abolition. Attack
Wow.
damage
Huge.
from the stackable passive precision has been increased to 25, up from 10.
Wow.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
I did not misspeak here. It is 20. It
Wow.
was 10. It was 10 damage per
250%.
auto attack. Now
For 75 more
it's going to
Vim.
be 25
You can wait in base for 75 Vim
10?
fairly easily.
to 25.
Wow.
I think.
Now I'm not a math major, but that's insane.
That's massive.
And
It's
and
not that crazy.
abolition, which is one of those things you can kind of get pretty early, like 25 extra damage on auto attacks when you're like say Kenzu or Moya, or now Mikella with her attack reset on W, like oh boy.
So
Oh,
you know
boy.
how Petrus or Mega Zero as Petrus, the Bruiser, bought like 4 or 5 forms just to, because it's strong. Oh, he did,
I
and
saw
he
that.
does. He does it a lot, and it's really strong and it hurts. I can see now carries buying multiple abolitions,
Dude, I
especially
mean,
with
why not get two
Yep.
abolitions on Kenzu
Right,
right
why not?
away? I mean, why not? Then you turn one into a ruin, turn one into finesse. Like,
and you
boom.
could or you could sell it later, but I'm telling you, it's gonna boost your early game massively.
I think it's
It-
more of a
that's-
mid game. I don't know if it's necessarily early
You can
because
get your
I don't
first-
think you're gonna stop. I don't think you're gonna forego
right.
either aggression or force
Right.
before getting an
Right, right.
abolition. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that-
I don't
there you
know.
go.
I
That's
don't
the thing.
know. But
Keep in
Yeah.
mind, 25 damage is still less damage than a 1.0 AD ratio on 25 power. It's like I don't think you're necessarily going to have to like rush double abolition every game, but I
Okay.
just feel like right now abolition is so garbage that like you feel bad buying it, and just getting that item towards your ruin is going to feel reasonably good now in the mid game, which is nice. Like 10 auto attacks is 250 damage. That's a lot in the mid game when you're talking to people like 1500, 2000 life.
I was coming at it from a Freya standpoint in the jungle.
Mhm.
So like rushing that will be very powerful for a Freya in the jungle. I
Is
feel
her
like
attack damage ratio not 1-to-1? Attack
her
to power?
attack damage ratio is 1-to-1, if I'm not mistaken, but the haste on it is more important for her.
I agree.
Um, yeah,
I
I'm not even thinking about it in the carry form. I'm thinking about it from Freya's point of view. I think that is incredibly powerful.
It's what it's gonna do. I think the big thing is right now the itemization for ADCs is very specific because there's this mid game slump that you don't want to fall into as an ADC, and so what you're seeing a lot of ADCs do is rush the pain because it's actually like relatively cheap. Like after you get a power, it's only 2200, I want to believe. So like a lot of ADCs are kind of forced into a very specific item build in the early game because there's no other good mid game, or I'm gonna say forced into a specific item build into the mid game because there's no better item build. And what this abolition buff is gonna do is gonna increase the available options. It's a good deal.
Well,
It's a
that's
big
why I
deal.
said I don't think it's going to take the place of rushing a power item first, but it's
Right,
definitely
right.
going to be like now. It's like, do I want am I trying to rush a fade? Am I trying to which haste item am I gonna want? Like now, the abolition tree is really
Yeah.
something to consider. And after you get your initial force or your initial aggression, I could definitely see like a Kenzu getting a force and 2 abolitions, and then building from there. Like I could totally see that being the case, and I'm kind of excited to see it.
Definitely.
ADCs could use some love. They've been like quietly,
Yeah.
well, not quietly crying in the corner.
Quietly.
That's a wishful thinking, but
Uh.
they've certainly felt cast aside for the past couple weeks. So it's nice to see ADCs
Dude,
get a little bit of love.
I tell you what, man.
Basco
the
nerfs, item buffs. Come on, guys. It's the sky isn't falling. You ADC players.
As a reasonable AD carry main, the thing that still pisses me off the most is that dominance is still extremely expensive, and so is insight, and like saving up for 2,000 gold or Vim rather upgrades still feels like trash because when I switch over to a mage and like I get to play with this new and improved like 1,500 divinity upgrade, it just feels so good. And like then I go back and I have to save up all this extra money and it feels so bad. So I really hope they balance that item in like patch 33.1 or something because I want it. I want it bad.
So moving on from abolition really quickly, conquest just getting the normalization of price being increased to 3K, which is probably good for it anyway. Finesse being changed because of abolition, growth increase in 5 Vim, insight, the tooltip is being updated, potency being brought down to 3K.
God bless
So
that
can we have a quick little potency discussion?
Please.
Potency, while a super fun item and really
Oh,
really
it's-
visually pleasing,
It's super fun.
It's kind of a noob trap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The general consensus,
Dude,
what's happening
that's what
around
the community
potency.
says.
I think it
you gotta
depends.
look out.
Yeah,
You gotta look out.
this is
Once-
rampancy guy talking. So people, please keep that in mind.
Okay, that was just me messing around. The biggest problem this game has with items is that people will get into this trap where like these items are now the good items, and then you always build it first every game, and then you never build these other items.
Well, if
Like,
you're building potency first, you're doing something wrong. You should never be building potency first.
I'm not rushing it, but I think it's got some appeal in a poke comp.
I'm
theory.
wondering if because it's got the 6% every how many seconds?
It's 8 seconds, I think. It's
8
not
seconds. So
6. It's 6.
that. 6. All right.
It has to be.
Are you
Chaos
sure?
is 6.
Can we
Conquest
look?
is 6.
Can we item this?
It's
with
6.
the-
It
Yeah.
has to be.
It's 6.
Alright.
God
But-
bless
all
my
right,
meta.
all right. So that being said, isn't potency pretty damn good on somebody who can do their full rotation to 100 to 0 you? For example, a Viridian. Like because it's got power, because it's got mastery,
10
and because
power.
because you're an ability based
10 power. It doesn't
Sure,
have
but-
power. It's
Okay,
mastery
okay.
and
You have a
haste.
good point, Muzzy.
But
No, you have
do
a
you
good
see what I'm
point.
saying? Do you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I feel like it could be good on somebody who's got a full rotation of abilities to kill you because you only have to use it once, and
Right.
then you know.
Because
I'm
this
just wondering.
right. No, that's an excellent point, Muzzy, and I think you do have merit when you say that. Like Viridian, it actually might be a decent choice. The other choice, the other time I think it's okay, maybe a little decent, is Ferris because of the way his Q gets better the lower they get on health. So all you need to do is chunk them down to low health. The real thing
And
that
it
people
still
don't
works with
realize
his
about
W on Faris. It works with
I
it
think
excess
works on his
memory.
melee
Yeah.
form W. Yeah.
I think
Um,
potency is more damage the more health you have, less damage the less health you have because it's
right.
percent
Current
current.
health, yeah.
But the thing, what people don't exactly, it's current health. It's not maximum health. You think it's maximum health. Decay is maximum health.
If it was
everything else is
maximum health, it would be a great item. But
It would
it's
be a
not.
great item if it was maximum health, but it's not. So what ends up happening is you're like, yeah, I'm Renzo, I'm potencing people down, and then you get up like 20% HP, and your potency does nothing. You're like, you do
Right.
nothing.
Right.
So it's not for that. It's for those people like you said, Muzzy, that have the potential to kill somebody, 100-0 them before it's even back up again. And Ferris can do that. Viridian can do that.
It is good on Viridian and
Okay.
Faris. It does potency
I mean,
has a place,
ability-
but
ab-
you know when
yeah,
you see
yeah.
a Viana getting potency, it just makes you go,
I've had that happen to me.
oh god.
The
God,
problem I
where
have
am
with
I?
Viana building it is that the range in her Q is not that long. Like I understand the concept. They're
It's
like,
not safe for
I'm gonna
us.
I'm going to be spamming my Q. It'll be so cool. But Viana's Q is like 800, whereas like true poke range in this game is like 1,000 to 1,100. Like that. Those are like Ashabel's E is a really good potency item because it's really long range. I think Tess's Q will be reasonably good at it. And I guess does Kensu, like I've never thought about building it on Kensu, but maybe his E as well or whatever the
Yeah, I
long
guess
range.
It's easy and execute. It's not a you don't you're gonna want to use it on somebody that you open with a single target.
And that's
skill.
why Viridian it's good because his Q.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Viridian's Q, even his W would proc it, I'm sure. I have no idea actually.
I don't know. No, his W doesn't. His W doesn't. His E.
I haven't thought about
Q
that,
and E.
but like I do think there's a
I haven't
couple
either.
use cases for this item.
Q
It's
and E
just
at least,
really-
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so potency. That's pretty much that. So potency is situationally good, not a rush item on everyone. So that's a nice little PSA. Prosperity is getting some changes, which prosperity was admittedly very very strong. So the health is being increased by 50, but the total health being from the passive endless bounty is being reduced by 50. So really a net gain of 0. But
Right.
the other thing is the armor.
You're getting more of it up front.
You're getting more up front.
You're not
the
getting
armor
any
comes down
upfront,
5. You're not
because
getting anything up front.
Vigor's got 450 health.
Yeah. Oh
So
no,
it's-
but vigor. Vigor's getting
Vigor's also
changed to
getting
450.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting how many items, advanced tier items, when you jump into legendary items, there's no stat upgrade. It's like legendary is for almost always for passives. There are a lot of them that gain it, but
Yeah.
that means that people who are rushing items, make sure you're rushing them for the passive and not for stats, depending
Yeah.
on which ones. Of course, there are others.
Mhm.
So sometimes getting multiple second tier items is actually better if you need stats as opposed to the passive.
The real time shines is when you're behind. Most of
Yeah.
the time you don't need anything flashy. You need stats. Most of
Yeah.
the time defensive stats survive under
Yeah.
the bindings, and you can get those stats efficiently by building those basic and advanced tier items.
The big interesting thing I find with the prosperity in this patch is that Vigor's price is going up. So Vigor is going to be a really hard item to get on your first back.
I'm
if
kinda
you
sad
haven't
about
farmed up
that.
a lot of gold.
It
Like,
won't be
I-
ridiculously easy. It was ridiculous.
But it was a really nice item to get on someone like Amaranth or Zalgus just really
Yeah.
quick early just for survivability. And
agree.
you're not going to do that in sync now.
It's
That-
500 more, right?
when it's something you're not going to upgrade. Like, I would get Vigor and sit on Vigor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't like be getting Prosperity on Amaranth, but I would sit on the Vigor and then build power items, you know? So that kind of
Yeah,
makes me
yeah.
sad.
I think it was a little overpowered, and I think the changes are subtle enough that they're not going to slam it because it wasn't that overpowered, but it's a nudge in the right direction. I think it's like, mwah, mwah.
Yeah, you know, the Vigor, I used to like getting that early in some cases just to have that health and
Yeah.
stuff. but now you can't, because the price change is so drastic that now it's that advanced tier item. It's not like
Yeah.
one and a
It's not
half.
like yeah, exactly,
You know.
exactly.
So the homogenization of price changes is it's good, and it feels weird all at the same time.
The advanced items are the tricky ones to buy, because they're the ones that are still 12 to 1500, and it feels weird to buy that. But like the legendary upgrades are so good because they're only 1500 Vim now. Like, it seems like they have some more work to do to make that purchasing legendary items feel better. I honestly wish it was like legendary or advanced are priced at like 12 or 1300 instead of 1500. I understand 15 is a nice number, but like it feels weird having to come back and still get 12 1300 Vim just to get an advanced item.
I'm still kind of. I understand why they're doing the homogenization of the prices and all that, but it just. I feel like having everything be the same amount of Vim is just kind of sad, because it was nice to be like, I'm going to spend money on this because it's cheaper and it gives me what I want, as opposed to having to save up for this item that I do want but I just can't afford right now. Like, sometimes you have a force on ranged AD and you want to get a dominance, but you only have enough for a pain and you need the big critical strike early on. Like, you can get the pain earlier because it's cheaper. You know what I mean? And later on, it's like, I don't know. Pain obviously will get stat increase once it gets a Vim.
That'll
increase.
be interesting.
That'll be interesting to see what happens with pain, because why are you going to get pain over dominance?
Because
Ever.
pain's in a weird spot right now.
Well, it's good because it's cheap right now.
It's good because it's cheap, but it's also kind of holds its own as its own item compared to like other items.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when it gets buffed stats and a buffed price is what I'm assuming is gonna happen, it's gonna be like better than other items in a slot for slot, not counting the Mortal Strike, and it's gonna be weird. It's
Yeah.
gonna
I
be
still
weird.
wish a Mortal Strike was an advanced tier item and that Pain and Corruption both built from it. I hate having to tell my team to spend 3000 Vim
Like,
on,
why can't
on
it be like
Mortal
a
Strike.
freedom? You know what I mean? Freedom, where it's like it's a haste item, but it's also an MR item. Like, why can't you get like a haste and power item that gives you Mortal Strike? Like, yeah, I'm totally with you on that, John. We were promised an advanced tier Mortal Strike item, and they gave us Drain. Like that.
And I
This isn't
hate
what I
Drain.
asked for.
But
I
think
hate
of
Drain
but
so
think of
much.
Renzo and Viana and Duvak.
Viana can use pain and
in
haste,
half.
or power and haste.
They get cut in half when you buy that corruption or pain.
Good.
So what?
Supports are awesome.
Deal with it. Supports are the most broken and the most contested shapers in the game now in the competitive scene, Spinal. Yes or no?
True.
So
but
let's shut the supports down.
Guys,
Waystone
guys,
Dibs
gotta get
makes
that-
them all too strong.
You got, the supports are the
That's
best.
because supports in
100%
this
the
game.
best.
100% supports. 100%. That's what I want to play. That's what I want to do. That's what I
Only
wanna make.
non-support
I
players
just wanna
say
make
that.
'em-
I'm just gonna
I'm
say
just
only
gonna make Mina,
non-support players
she's gonna
say
be good at
that.
everything. I'm gonna make Dibs like the literal
I'm a
incarnation
Dibs'
of
bro.
Hitler.
The best.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
do,
understand.
Yeah, there he is. I knew we'd get him.
Hey, I'm in Tibbs' mode. You don't know what it's like. Ugh.
No, what's Mina do? Well, I've got a move speed increase. I've got a slow percentage damage reduction and vulnerability and AOE fear percent damage. That's enough. That's enough things she does well, right? That gives her a niche.
I want more people to play supports because, like, when someone rolls into my lane as Tact Amaranth, I can just tell that my lane sucks. Like, I'm not gonna win. They're not gonna give me anything. They're gonna land one bubble per 10 minutes.
Emma's
Like, that's
super
the
strong.
Nah, it's solo queue. I'm talking about like this random guy I'm gonna play with. Like, compare that to a Renzo who's gonna like just shield me and heal me all day and like and stun when people come to gank. Like, I wish more people played supports. Like, I might just start maining support just so I can win.
Go
Easy,
ahead,
easy
see-
trip to the
go ahead.
leaderboard, friend, if you want to main
Easy
supports.
trip to leaderboard. That's where it's gonna take you. Mm-hmm.
It's going to take you right to the top, buddy.
As much as Scumbag Cranger is a thing, I've played like thousands of support games in League of Legends. So much that like I
I
don't
think-
play it anymore. But
If you look at the top 14 people, I don't think one of them is a support player. Not a single one of them. Not
I
a
don't-
single one of the people in the top 14 on leaderboard.
I don't think
are
I've
support
seen a single one of the top 14. No, I'm just kidding. So what do you got? Like 8 Ferrises? I mean, does that really count? Like,
But like,
come
Yeah.
on. 8
I mean,
Ferris.
A-Monk has a comm, but he's not a support player. Tolos doesn't play support in solo queue. Very rarely. Zekin does. Zekin actually plays support.
Number 16 is Dibs.
Yeah, that's Zekin.
Yep.
He actually plays support. He's also a verified professional player.
Yeah, I think
It
so.
looks like
27 is Zeri.
Zeri.
The next one down is Zeri.
That's me, right? No? Oh. Oh, the mighty have fallen. I'm 35. This is.
Oh, it's just, I'm gonna kick you off the show if you fall below 50, Spinal.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
shit. So I'm already off the show.
No, Muzzy.
No, just me. Just me.
Just Spinal.
Okay.
Because you have just because everybody hates Spinal. So
Oh, dear.
can
I
we?
love Spinal.
We'll move on to Rampancy, John, getting that 0.25 increase.
I don't think it makes a difference.
Can I ask you
0.25 of a
this?
percent.
Like, I never said Rampancy's like a great item.
You did.
You
You,
did.
have it
You did.
tattooed on
You
your
did.
stomach.
Yep. Yeah, it's
You
written
did.
on your face.
He's got
I did.
Rampancy like
Rampancy is
right here,
Rampancy
like
is
Thug
here.
Life, right on his
Also a great
stomach.
choice.
Moving on. What's the next item?
Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Rest in peace, Rebirth. We hardly knew ye for 3 weeks. The health
I
on
think-
this item has been reduced by 80 to 380, down from 460. The item now gives 25 health regen per 5. Basically, they're carrying over the growth passive, and the cost of the item is being increased by 300. It's not the end of the world. Rebirth was insanely
yeah.
strong for right
And
now.
it is
Everyone
good.
seems to rush it, so.
It is good that you finally don't lose a passive from your
Yeah.
advanced tier, which is nice. I like that. But that rampancy, just to go back to that real quick, because other things are getting health chops, that rampancy's not that good still. You're still
We
not.
moved on from Rampancy.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just saying, John. I know
I
it hits
say-
you right here.
All
Our
I said
ramp
is
stand.
Rampancy offers a lot of stats for the price. I caveated that with saying that nobody wants the items that make it good.
John, we move past that. John, we move past that. Rage quit. Yo,
Bye, John.
To
The
rage quit.
Rampancy quit. Oh my word.
Ramp life.
Rampancy quit, huh? Okay. Welcome back, John. Did you go take a nap?
WB.
All right, so wrapping up our patch discussion, Ruin is getting changed. Pretty much the abolition changes. It's getting decreased in
Right,
price
right,
by
right.
115 Vim. Vigor, we
great.
talked about it earlier, being increased a lot from 1010 to 1500. That is a huge increase. So rest in peace, Vigor. The rest of the items will see the normalization in future patches, I'm sure. That is it for the patch notes. We're all excited to play it. We're going to get some more impressions on how it feels in-game next week on the show. But in the meantime, I want to move on to our next little segment piece here, a little DGSL recap. Spinal Dash, once again, participating in the tournament. Once again,
Participating. Keyword.
he participated. Well, because he didn't win. Once again, he ran into the unstoppable buzzsaw that is Band of Baddies, Team BOB.
The wave of baddies. God bless.
But okay, but so Spinal, you just played in the Sick Note Invitational. Now you've played in DGSL. What are the
Right.
are there differences between the two tournaments? Are there things you like about DGSL that Sick Note doesn't do? Just overall impression, or is it just basically the same thing, different name?
No, I felt much more high stakes with the DGSL, and that
it
was
did.
two reasons because of the kind of the bunch of build up. You had to get points to get to the invitation. The bigger prizes being spread over 2 days. I was kind of disappointed. There was very little people actually watching the DGSL finals. Like we had more people
That's a
watching
Sunday, isn't it?
the day before, yeah, and I'm counting me and Tulse, like, because we were the two people streaming the finals. It should be for me it was like a big deal. I was like whatever. But no, it definitely felt like a bigger deal. We had a good showing. It was the first time we've played with those 5 people as a team, so we did a really really fantastic job. And we lost to Bob in the finals, but we did take a game off of them. So you know, it's only a matter of time. We've got a lot of gelling, a lot of I've got a lot of minds to mold into a team. You know, these games are psychic games. They are just as much about your mentality and like everything outside of actually being able to play the game. There's so much other stuff that it has a big deal to do with this game. And also the other thing that really struck me about this weekend was like Dawngate is it's a deep game. it's a super deep game where we can take it at the competitive level, and I have a good feeling we've touched maybe about 25% of the game with just the true competitive scene. And there's just a bunch of shapers that nobody really knows, like, when do I pick Reyna? When is she gonna be really a good pick? Nobody's has cracked the Viridian code yet, which we might be in the
Yeah.
process of doing. And then like Volek didn't get picked very often, and we found that he has his places. Like, there's just so much about this game that people don't understand yet, and it's beautiful. And I had so much fun getting to explore that in a very competitive setting. So I had a great time, and I'm looking forward to the next tournament, which is this weekend coming up, right?
Every
Well,
weekend, right?
well, there is.
There's a lot of stuff happening this weekend.
Well, we are doing Battle in the Bot Lane this Friday.
Friday.
So
And then there
we're
is
gonna
another
get
tournament on
signups for that.
Saturday, I believe.
Is it?
Which
It's
one's
a-
No,
that?
Best Shaper World just happened and DGSL. So what's
It's
next?
a new thing. It's a new
Is this
thing.
the Across
are
the
you
Gate
talking about
guys?
Yeah, are you talking about
That's
Across
this
the
week?
Gate?
That-
That's in
what's it?
August. I don't
Yeah,
think that's
I
this
don't think
weekend.
I don't think that's coming up yet.
This weekend, not August.
I
my
think
dear?
just Bib on Friday.
This weekend is August.
Maybe it is this next. Okay, hold on. Mirror match may.
Okay.
Oh, the mirror
Wait, no.
match one. Well, if they get enough
No,
teams,
that's
I thought that
that's
got
the
canceled.
2v2 one.
What was it?
Uh,
Across the gate? Across.
It was Across the Gate, but it was their 5v5. I've got it in my email because they asked me to build them a draft mode tool for their pick ban. I'll
Right.
grab it. As a spectator, I did notice that when we watch you guys stream, it really
It's
sucks
difficult.
to have the stream go mute for like 15 minutes
Yes.
straight.
No.
That's the kind of thing that casting mode, like, I mean, we can maybe get to that right after, but casting mode was so amazing. And then, like, you compare it to the dead silence of, like, hardcore strategery, and it's, it is a little harder to watch, in fairness. But,
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And
Well,
there's
even
yeah.
today, me and Spinal were watching VODs together of
Yeah.
of DGSL, and it was like, oh man, we wanted to watch this one team fight so bad, but we couldn't. We looked for Tulsa's point of view, we looked at Spinal's point of view, but like,
Tulsa wasn't watching the fight.
Yeah, Tulsa
my
was, like,
fight
running.
had I had the wrong overlay, so I
Yeah.
had my giant head in the top right corner. Like,
so that's one thing where I was like, God damn, I really wish we had caster mode for this, but
it was really disappointing.
that's in the future. That's down the line. We'll get that eventually. But we're now like into like the last 15 minutes. We don't want the show to go too super long. We're trying to keep it to around an hour and a half. So now that we're in the last 15 minutes, we can open up to group chat and just kind of freeform discussion, whatever bozos want to talk about. Now's the time. Yeah. Bring up all your questions, queries, and concerns. So real quick, I'd like to open up the discussion here with Mr. Dibs, the Shaper Dibs.
Dibs Coon.
And
Wildly overpowered.
basically, yeah. But one thing that I think could help bring him into line is right now, like, you can like effectively split push with Dibs, like a complete ass without any sort of like repercussion. And in other games where that happens, like in Dota with Nature's Prophet, and in League, with Shen, the thing is you can interrupt those characters from using their global
Right.
teleport. Dibs, I feel like maybe should have a little bit of a charge up from when he casts
Yeah.
his ult, right?
That's a good
He
point.
shouldn't be able to just instantly like boop to the future, like across the map without some sort of, because like now we're seeing the wind up time on Tess with her W, and that's like a high mobility. And I understand it's Dibs and it's his ultimate, but like something like just a little 2-second window where he can be interrupted and he won't be able to finish, like the way if you stunned Twisted Fate or if you stunned Shen, you don't get that, like they don't. Then Dibs won't get the second half of his ultimate, and
Yeah,
you can prevent
the
him.
window's too short. I
Mm-hmm.
get what you're saying. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
and-
what do you guys think about something like that? Because right now it's like, I know you can knock Dibs out of the sky or whatnot, or if you use
Yeah,
certain
it
abilities,
takes
but
like it's a highlight if you do
yeah,
it.
it's accidental. You can't intend on doing it with any consistency. So do you think about
Right.
some sort? What do you guys think about adding some sort of aspect of counterplay to Dibs's ult and the recast of it?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea, and because not only is Dibs really difficult to interrupt, it's very difficult to interrupt his ult. But unlike Shen, unlike Twisted Fate, he runs around at 30% speed with that shield. He has a movement speed. He has a snare immunity. He is a tough fucker to catch.
Yeah, he's a little.
Well,
And that's not
guys
even
saw the
counting
top-
Zolt.
you guys saw the top 5 plays of like I think it was Tulse was like 100 life. Just someone made a recap video of I think it was
Yeah,
Sick
I
Notes
saw it.
tournament.
I know the clip you're talking about.
That just exemplified perfectly what you're saying. Like can't kill him, super fast, super shieldy, target practice. But what do you think Spinal the solution to Dibs is? Because like I never
No.
feel like he's too broken in solo queue.
I mean, in solo queue, it's a different environment, right? It's a totally different environment because he's not like Twisted Fate who teleports in and one shots your ADC. It's like a global presence thing. You are always as 5 even if you're as 4 and 1. And when you can do that, you can push another lane. You can take a well, and you force somebody away from the well. It lets you do a lot of things that you need a coordinated team to do. I
Mhm.
think making his ult interruptible will put him a step
A good
closer to
start.
that. Yeah.
I mean, it's either that or start making more shapers
But-
with global ults.
well, I feel like he doesn't
And
need.
that's a dangerous road.
I know we're going down a slippery slope. But I think also I want to keep him being a little bit overpowered. I like having every shaper having something like that's overpowered about them. Like,
Definitely.
oh, Basco, you cannot escape him. Dibs, you cannot catch him. Who else do we got? You know, like Calm, you can't you can't
Mina,
be
you
classier
do
than him.
everything. No, I understand, and I
You know
agree
what
with
I'm
your
saying?
sentiment though, Spinal. I do like the aspect because Dawngate kind of has that aspect to it where it's like,
Not on Dota level.
no,
Dota's
no,
on
no, that's insane. But
Dota's on another
yeah,
freaking
that's
level.
like who wants to be silenced for 16 seconds? How is that
Oh my
fun?
God,
I
that's
don't.
the
no,
worst.
fuck. Yeah, no.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think- I
but to
think-
be fair, you can do something against all of those examples. Somebody,
Yes, and that's the thing, Muzzy.
You-
As
you know
long
what I
as there's a
mean?
counter somewhere.
there is a counter as long as there's
There's no
counterplay.
counter
I mean,
Doom.
The spell.
it just
the spell
can't be a
system
narrow
helps a lot,
counterplay. What?
Right,
Sorry,
like
John?
if someone has really overpowered crowd control, I'll be like, well, I got dispel. Like it's a valid option. Yeah, like the only thing that sucks is like you say, if there is no counterplay, and then you're like, that's when things are too broken. Like things
Mhm.
can be broken with counters, just like you say.
But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Dibs. And if you watch things like DGSL and Sick Note, you know those are the hottest contested picks. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but Dibs and Mina.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
stats on the subreddit, man. We should.
but I wonder also if that's yes, it's Dibs and Mina right now, but I also wonder if that's not partially because those are the shapers we figured out how to break.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? Like we've had a long time to play with Dibs. He's not easy to play. Unlike Mina, Dibs is not easy to play. I think Mina's a whole lot easier to play.
So yeah, Mina got 13 bans, Dibs got 11, and no one else was really close.
So there you
Basco
go.
got 7, and
What about
Basco's
Mara?
3 bans, 8 picks. Looks like
Okay.
with a
She's up there.
25% win rate. So OP.
Well, so there you go.
OP!
I would just like to point out, by the way,
obviously, we
just-
understand.
just-
just
can't.
a growth of Dawngate moment, like Mega Zero streaming with like over 200 viewers, Strippin streaming with 200. We're hovering around like 180 and stuff. Like
That's like
growth.
200.
It's pretty cool. There's like
when the
you
third
know,
place streamer is at 180, it's a good thing,
that's
right?
a good sign.
No.
That's pretty
a
sweet.
beautiful thing.
Thank you guys for continuing to support this community, and
Man.
Dawngate will continue to stick around, and Waystone will keep giving us cool shit to play with.
That's a lot of viewers
That
watching
is, man.
Dongay right
that's,
now.
that's a lot for not just one person streaming. Like that's
Yeah, it was a lot
dope.
like today when Dodger alone was repping 1200.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Wait,
1300 at some point.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, bless. God bless her.
I know.
That's like mostly probably her community, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
and,
is.
and you know the
oh.
best part is I went in there and I did not see any shit talk about Dongate. Like there was no like, oh, is this a league copy or anything? It was
I
like
saw it.
Yeah.
I
it was
saw
all
the league
chill.
copy
Did you?
comments.
I didn't see any of
But
it. I was
people
only
are
in there
good,
for
right?
about 20 minutes, but
I mean, generally, people are going to come.
If
to
you've
the
never
stream
seen
for
Dawngate
time,
before, that's a perfectly reasonable knee-jerk reaction.
you know?
Like if League is like the only MOBA you've played up until this point, it's natural you're gonna compare it to what you know. So I'm not. That's never gonna stop. 5 years from now, they'll still be like, "Is this a League copy?" Like that's
No, and I think in 5 years it won't be like that.
Maybe
Nobody
not,
says
but-
this is a Doom copy when they
Yeah,
see
that's
their
true.
next Call of Duty.
yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
5 years we'll be sitting in a bar watching the LCS for
yeah,
Don
yeah, we will. Well,
or something of that effect.
hopefully I'll be there, but
Right?
I don't want to be watching it from a bar. Although that'd still be pretty cool, but either way. Any
okay, do we
other
have any
things
good
to any other like bookkeeping stuff we have to do, John? Do we have got? Are we gonna have a test guide contest?
I closed all my tabs, but the art we saw at the beginning of the stream, we had.
I'll throw it up again for the people who are new. There it is. There's the new art. Check it out.
I linked you to the Twitter, but Alex Rosario built that, and we're gonna get that.
Up.
What?
No, not you. You linked to the Twitter.
Anyway, so yeah, that was some art from Money Pigs we got commissioned, and it's pretty incredible.
There you go. I linked
it. Definitely. So we're like super excited about that. We're gonna get that better incorporated into the overlays and stuff. So that turned out really well. So big shout out to Alex. The Twitch handle is Sepiatros. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly.
What's the? Did we ever Twitter or something?
Yeah, I linked to Twitter in chat.
Okay.
It's at Skyfu. So it turned out really well. Like I saw the initial sketch like a week and a half ago. I'm like, that's like I basically said the Muddy Pigs as our favorite shapers, and then it was just like super delivered really hard. So really excited about that. So big.
It's even got spinal eyebrows. So
definitely
spinal eyebrows.
I love it. I love it.
Very cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to do art of me, please just let me know. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Just make sure it's
I'll
this
pose
tall.
for you.
It's not that. It's not. No, you know what it is, Fuzzy? It's not that I'm short. It's my personality is so big. You just expected me to be bigger in real life.
Can I seriously? Can I tell you guys? It was awesome meeting Twerp, and if any of you guys ever have the chance to do so, you should, because Twerp's pretty cool in person.
Stop! I'm gonna blush.
Stop it.
No, meeting everyone, and I don't want to be like, oh my god, I had so much fun. You guys, aren't you jelly? But like. It was.
But aren't you jelly?
But yeah, like it was out of control, amazing. Like just like everyone was so nice and so like welcoming. It was incredibly humbling and something I can't wait for Germany. Gamescom is going to be off the fucking hook. So there's more. There's more of me yet to come, bozos.
That's good.
I'm excited to see you there.
So if we are doing bookkeeping, can we discuss events going on this week?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we've got Battle in the Bot Lane this Friday. Signups are going probably a little bit closer to to Friday.
Well, signups will be up whenever John puts them up, but no one's gonna sign up until Friday. We know that's.
No one's gonna sign up until Friday, anyways.
Until I make the reminder post on Reddit. So.
But I think I want to see some competition. I want to see if Mega Zero is going to come back and claim his #1 spot, or what's going to happen there. We've got ATG's Break of Dawn 5v5 Grand Tournament, which is happening on August 2nd, which is Saturday.
Wait, is that genuinely August 2nd?
Yeah. In America, okay. It is, John.
It's the 28th. It's 3 days from now.
Okay. I had read the wrong date. Continue.
Well, you said
Battle of the Bot Lane is 8:30 Eastern time, Cliff.
So Battle of the Bot Lane is at 8:30. Then there's a 5v5 tournament. You can either sign up or come watch people. Do we got any other events happening?
There will be a Tess guide writing contest. One new thing with the guide contest is I'm looking for approximately 2 high MMR players to help judge, because reasons. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know.
So, come be the guide janitor.
That's it.
Don't make it sound so glamorous.
Yeah, really, John. Way to hype up that position.
I don't play a lot of like jungling positions, so when things like Basco come out, it's hard to pick which one's the best.
Oh, I want to
Bachelor
give a
guys.
shout out to good old Malk and whoever. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
R-Race helped him out on that Reddit post with the DGSL recap. That was like super awesome and super. Like I woke up this morning super early to move my car, and then I was just like, oh whatever, and I saw that post and I just watched. I literally watched the DGSL VODs for like 3 hours straight with Spinal. So it was pretty
Yeah,
pretty
it was a good
awesome.
time.
I hope you guys continue doing that. You get my continued support and kudos for putting that stuff together.
Yeah, definitely. Malik is a incredible guy. He's one of my 4 stream viewers, so God bless.
We appreciate that stuff. So other than that, I think we're pretty much wrapped up here. I think this is going to do it for episode 59 of the Money Pigs Livecast. I think it's 59.
Jeez.
We're going to go with that. So make sure you bozos sign up for Battle in the Bot Lane and do all the other stuff. Be on the lookout for test guides. Enjoy the patch. In the meantime, you can follow all of us on Twitch and on Twitter under our various handles and whatnot. Check out MOBA Champion for all of your Dawngate related stuff. Go and support streamers of Dawngate. Let's keep continuing and making this game grow so we all can enjoy and have a nice place to hang out in the future. Other than that, you guys want to say goodbye?
Bye.
All right, goodbye. I'm going to go back to the our fun little picture
Splash screen.
screen while we log out of here. All right.
Cheers.
Good night.